What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Elemental Hero Neos deck and teaching you guys some combos that you need to know to play this deck. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of Notification Squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name description for every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this one guys. So this combo, guys, is an extremely powerful combo that you're actually going to summon Nebula Neos on your opponent's turn, and it's super easy to establish because all you need is a copy of Stratos and Crosskeeper in hand. The other three cards don't matter what you have in your hand, you just need to have a copy of Crosskeeper and Stratos in your hands. This is a super cool combo that can get you multiple draws and is just a really cool way to go up against the opponent. So what we're going to do is normal summon up the copy of our Stratos to our side of the field, and we're immediately going to get a search of another hero monster, which is going to be our copy of Spirit of Neos. We can then use the effect of our Crosskeeper to actually discard to the graveyard and then special summon out our copy of Spirit of Neos, because Crosskeeper has a super cool effect that basically you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave to special summon an elemental hero monster or a Neospatian monster from your hand or graveyard, but negate its effects if summoned from the graveyard, which is a great effect to immediately get your copy of Spirit of Neos on your side of the field. Now the effect of Spirit of Neos will go off and let us search the deck for another card, which is going to be our copy of our favorite contact, which you guys would like, check out the deck profile for this. As always with every test hand video, it will be down in the description down below, but we're going to go ahead and search out the copy of Favorite Contact. Favorite Contact is a key card in this particular combo because it's going to let us summon our copy of Nebula Neos during the opponent's turn, which is a great card effect to be able to use. So we're going to go ahead and add that card to hand, then use the effect of our copy of Spirit of Neos to tag itself out for a copy of a Neos, which is going to be really cool to immediately get our copy of Neos on our side of the field. But he's not going to be sticking around for long because we're going to immediately link these two away to be able to summon out a really awesome link monster, our copy of Infernal Devicer, which we'll be seeing in a bunch of combos with this deck, which is really cool because it lets us add materials for a fusion summon directly from our deck to our hand, which is a really cool thing about this deck. So what we're going to do with this card is we're going to immediately reveal our copy of Nebula Neos in our extract so we can grab two of the materials that we want from our deck to our hand, which is going to be a copy of our Grand Mole and a copy of our Dark Panther, which is really cool because they're immediately listed on your copy of Nebula Neos. So this card will go back to the extract because we did just reveal the card to be able to get those cards to our hand, and then we'll set our copy of Favorite Contact against the opponent. So once we pass over to the opponent and let them do their thing, you're going to be able to activate your copy of Favorite Contact at any time during their turn, which is really cool. I love that about this combo, that depending on the amount of cards that they have on the field, depends on the amount of draws you're going to get when you summon out your copy of Nebula Neos. So you don't want to immediately activate this card during their standby phase or their draw phase. You're going to want to wait until they have a really important card that you want to stop on the field comes out, which is really important about this particular combo. You don't want to just activate Favorite Contact right off the bat. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate our copy of Favorite Contact, saying our opponent has, say, 3 cards on their side of the field. So we're going to activate our copy of Favorite Contact, and Favorite Contact says you special summon one fusion monster from your extract that mentions a hero monster as material, ignoring its summoning conditions, by placing the fusion materials mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck in any order from among cards on your hand or in your hand, field, graveyard, and or banished cards, which is a really awesome effect. And if you placed an Elemental Hero Neos into the deck, neither player can return that monster special summoned by this effect to the extract, which is a great effect to be able to keep your copy of Nebula Neos on your side of the field. So what we're going to do is immediately put back our copy of Nebula Neos, or a copy of Neos, a copy of Dark Panther and Grand Mole back into the deck, which is really awesome. And don't forget about the effect of Crosskeeper that can actually chain block you, which is really cool. So what we're going to do is immediately put these cards back on the bottom of the deck, but I'm going to shuffle the deck really quickly just to show you guys it's completely random what we're going to draw for this particular combo, which is going to be really cool what we actually hit with this, because you can draw cards that can OTK your opponent. Like drawing into a copy of Neos Fusion is pretty much going to end the game at this point, which is really neat. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck, and once we do, we're going to go ahead and put these 3 back on the bottom of the deck, which is our copy of Grand Mole, Dark Panther, and Neos. And once we put these 3 cards back on the bottom of the deck, we're going to be able to summon out a copy of Nebula Neos. Now let's say that our opponent does have 3 cards on their side side of the field. This card is really neat because it has the ability that when this card touches the field, if this card is special summoned the X deck, you get to draw cards equal to the number of cards that your opponent controls, then negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of the turn. So you can actually use this card as disruption, which is really neat about this particular card, and I really love that effect. So let's say they have 3 cards, so we're gonna go ahead and draw 3 off the top of the deck, which is a Neos Fusion right there. We can already OTK, Ian engage Neospace, and then Ian Wave. This is really powerful what we've just drawn, and then we can also chain block this card if we want to. Before we even activate that effect, we can actually use the effect of our Crosskeeper that's in the graveyard. That is an awesome effect that if you special summon an Elemental Hero Fusion monster while this card's in the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can draw 2 cards and then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is a great effect to be able to use to then just banish out this card and then draw 2 off the top of the deck, put 1 back on the bottom of the deck, and then we use the effect of the Nebula Neos that we used as Chainlink 2 and Chainlink 1 to be also able to draw an additional 3 cards, which is going to get us 4 cards in our hand off this combo, which is really cool. I love that you can actually chain block it with the Crosskeeper with that easy combo just by having a Stratos and a copy of Cross Crusader in your hand. You can actually use it as a disruption against the opponent during their turn. So this combo builds on the last combo, guys, by incorporating a copy of Neos Fusion into the mix, which is really cool about this particular combo with just how powerful this card is in this combo, because you can actually make it so your opponent can't activate any effects, essentially skipping their turn, which is really cool. So this is going to end with a copy of Cosmo Neos, which is a awesome card to be able to summon during the opponent's turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to immediately normal summon out our copy of Stratos, basically perform the exact same combo as before by adding a copy of Spirit of Neos from our deck to our hand, then using the copy of Crosskeeper to be able to send to the graveyard to special summon out the copy of Spirit of Neos. The only difference is we're not going to tag out this copy of Spirit of Neos. We're then going to use the effect of Spirit of Neos to grab our copy of Favorite Contact, which is going to be great to be able to grab to our hand. We can then go ahead and link these 2 monsters away to summon out our copy of our Infernal Devicer, just like before, which is a great card to be able to summon to your side of the field. We can then use its ability to reveal in our extract either a copy of our Nebula Neos, or you can even reveal a copy of Storm Neos. It doesn't really matter which one you reveal, as long as you're grabbing 2 Neospacians. Usually I just go ahead and reveal the copy of Nebula Neos to be able to grab from my deck my copy of Grand Mole and Dark Panther, which is really important to be able to just immediately get those cards to your hand so that we can go for full combo. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and drop the copy of Neos Fusion, which will be the last card that we're going to be using during our turn, which we're going to immediately use the effect of our Neos Fusion to be able to send from our deck to the graveyard our copy of Neos and Air Hummingbird. This could be a copy of Aqua Dolphin or whatever Neospacian that you really don't need in the deck that you're going to shuffle back anyways with Favorite Contact to summon out Cosmo Neos. So we're going to go ahead and send these 2 to the graveyard to be able to summon out an extremely powerful fusion monster, which is our copy of Brave Neos, which basically just comes out to the field and doesn't shuffle itself back, which is a really cool thing about this card because it's going to help us OTK the opponent since we're essentially turning their entire turn off. So now that we've activated our copy of Neos Fusion, this card's going to go to the graveyard and we're going to set our copy of Favorite Contact to our side of the field. Now at this point, you could have chain blocked or activated your copy of your Crosskeeper to be able to draw 2 and discard 1, or you could even wait for the copy of Favorite Contact since you are special summoning a monster to your side of the field, which is a great thing to do if you want to wait for that card to go off. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and let our opponent go, and upon their first action for their turn, we're going to go ahead and flip up the copy of Favorite Contact, putting back 3 Neospacians and a copy of Elemental Hero Neos. So we're going to go ahead and put back our copy of Elemental Hero Neos, a copy of Air Hummingbird, which we used for Neos Fusion, and then we're going to put back the 2 Neospacians that we have in our hand, which is our copy of Grand Mole and Dark Panther. Now, we're going to go ahead and activate the ability that as soon as this card touches the field, we're going to go ahead and put those cards on the bottom of the deck and put out our copy of our Cosmo Neos, which is a really awesome card to be able to put on our side of the field. And again, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck to be able to draw out that card, which is really cool off the effect of Cross Keeper, which is going to help us out a lot to be able to just dig into the deck for an extra card. Now, we're not going to summon out that copy of Nebula Neos, so we're only going to get one extra card off this combo, but we do get a 3,500 attack point monster that's essentially going to skip the opponent's turn. So we're going to go ahead and banish that card as soon as the copy of our Cosmo Neos touches the field, and then we're going to draw 2 cards and put a card back, which I'm going to put back my copy of A Hero Lives. It could be any card. It could be another copy of Neos Fusion. It could be a Stratos that you draw. It could be any card that you need for this particular combo, which is really cool. But the neat thing about your copy of Cosmo Neos is this card has an extremely powerful effect that basically, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect that for the rest of the turn, your opponent cannot activate cards and effects. And you can activate this for this turn, which is really cool. I love this card effect that basically just turns off their turn to basically just stop them in their tracks where they don't get any card effects for the entire turn, essentially making it super easy to be able to OTK the opponent the next turn. So you've pretty much turned off your opponent's turn and they're going to pass back to us. And once they pass back to us, we're going to draw for turn, which is going to be a Stratos. That's extremely powerful to be able to do. And then you basically OTK the opponent by going in with your field that you already have. And you can just normal summon out the Stratos and extend your plays even further depending on the rest of the cards that you have in your hand to be able to just go in for game. Just right here, you already have game, which is really cool about this particular combo. And it's so easy to pull off with a 3-card combo. This combo, guys, is an amazing combo because you actually get to summon out 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, which is an amazing thing for this deck to be able to do. And it's super easy to pull off because all you need is a way to get to Stratos, Ian Shuffle, and then these 2 cards can actually be interchanged with Engage Neospace because we're going to search a card that mentions Elemental Hero Neos in this combo. So let's go ahead and show you guys exactly how this works. So we're going to go ahead and activate our copy of E-Call, which could be a copy of A Hero Lives, a copy of Rhoda, or a copy of Stratos, which is 10 ways to get to this combo piece, which is really awesome. So we're going to go ahead and grab a copy of Stratos and normal summon it to our side of the field. We're then going to use the effect of Stratos to be able to grab from deck to hand a copy of Shadow Mist, not a copy of Spirit of Neos. So once we grab our copy of Shadow Mist from our deck to our hand, we're then going to use the effect of our Ian Shuffle, which is going to be really cool to be able to shuffle back our copy of Stratos into the deck and then special summon a copy of Spirit of Neos, because they basically tag themselves out with this card, which is a super cool thing about this card. This card opens up so many combo lines for this deck. We're then going to activate the effect of Spirit of Neos to be able to search from the deck Engage Neospace, which is why I say that any of these 3 cards are interchangeable for this particular combo. As long as you have a combo of at least 2 of these cards, you can search the one that you're missing off the copy of Spirit of Neos. We're then going to activate the copy of Engage Neospace, which is going to get us to send a copy of an Elemental Hero monster plus a Neospatian, 1 from our deck and 1 from our hand to the graveyard, which is why we actually searched out the copy of Shadow Mist so that we can pay cost with the copy of Shadow Mist so we get a search, which is really cool. So we're going to go ahead and send these 2 to the graveyard, our copy of Aqua Dolphin from the deck and Shadow Mist from our hand to be able to special summon from our deck a copy of Elemental Hero Neos. Now the cool thing about this is we did use 2 cards to be able to use that, and we're actually going to get 2 cards back because this card also lets us add from our deck to our hand a copy of Polymerization, which is really good because now we have a fusion spell in our hand. Now the neat thing about this particular combo is now the effect of Shadow Mist will go off and let us add from our deck to our hand a copy of Liquid Soldier, which is going to help us out to be able to draw 2 and discard a card, which is super nice about this particular combo. Now at this point I'm going to go ahead and use Polymerization to be able to fuse away the copy of Liquid Soldier and the Neos that we just put on the field to be able to summon out a copy of Sunriser. Now at this point, this is an old school hero combo that we always use to use, that basically you go Chainlink 1 Liquid Soldier and Chainlink 2 Sunriser. Sometimes you would wait with the copy of Miracle Fusion to activate the copy of Liquid Soldier, but I don't with this particular combo because I don't want to draw into the copy of Miracle Fusion. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my card off my copy of my Sunriser, which is going to be the Miracle Fusion that you add from deck to hand off this card. Then we have the effect of Liquid Soldier that's going to let us draw 2 cards from our deck, which it doesn't matter what we draw, which is going to be an E-Call and a copy of our favorite Favorite Contact. Now we have to discard a card, and usually you're going to have to discard one of these two cards. So I'm going to go ahead and discard the copy of E-Call because it's not that needed in this particular combo. This card could be anything, so I'm just going to play it face down to say this card could be a hand trap, this could be another hero card, it doesn't matter what it is. Now at this point, we're going to go ahead and activate the copy of Miracle Fusion to be able to we're going to activate the copy of Instant Contact first, special summon out our copy of Flame Wingman to our side of the field so we can actually use the effect of our Miracle Fusion to summon out our Shining Neos Wingman, our first copy. Now we're going to go ahead and send this card to the grave, activate our copy of Miracle Fusion to be able to fusion summon our copy of Shining Neos Wingman, using our copy of Flame Wingman and a copy of Neos that's in the grave. I absolutely love Miracle Fusion because just by using this card, you can banish materials from the field or the grave, which is just super powerful and sets up for Favorite Contact. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and special summon our Shining Neos Wingman, which is really awesome to just instantly get that card on our side of the field, and it's super cool to just summon out this awesome boss monster that was actually the cover card for Power of the Elements. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and set our card on our side of the field and pass over to the opponent. And the cool thing is Shining Neos Wingman is actually an interruption, which is really neat. So at this point, our field actually is really big because depending on the amount of attributes that we control, our effect of our Sunriser is going to boost up our monster's attack points by 200. So we're already gaining 200 attack points for every monster on our side of the field, which is really cool. So we're gaining a total of 200 attack points because we have one attribute, which is all light monsters. Then the effect of our Shining Neos Wingman is going to boost himself up by 300 for each monster in our graveyard, which we actually have quite a few, which we have 3 in the grave, which is going to boost him up by an additional 900, pushing him up to 4,200, which is massive for this particular card. So then when our opponent puts a card on their side of the field, we can actually pop cards on the field with this card, which is really cool because this card has the ability, if this card is special summoned, then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among the monsters on the field. And you can only use the effect of this card once per turn, which is a great effect to be able to just boost this card up and get pops on the field. So what we're going to do is immediately flip up our copy of Favorite Contact. Once our opponent puts at least one card on the field, it's really good if they put a monster on the field that's not the same attribute, but it's really awesome because at this point what we're going to do is put back our copy of Elemental Hero Neos and our copy of Flame Wingman back into the deck and back into the extra deck. And once we do, we actually get to summon out our second copy of our Shining Neos Wingman, having 2 4,200 attack point monsters on the field, which is absolutely crazy. And the cool thing is about this particular combo as well is on your next turn, you can activate the effect of EN Shuffle to be able to shuffle back your copy of Aqua Dolphin and Shadow Mist back in the deck, which will drop these cards down by 600 attack points, but it will give you an extra draw, letting you essentially draw 2 cards that turn, which is really neat. So let's say our opponent passes against us, and we're going to go ahead and go into our next turn and draw a card, which is a Favorite Contact. Now we already know that we drew into a copy of our Instant Contact. We already know we have a copy of Favorite Contact in our hand, but let's go ahead and tag out our copy of Spirit of Neos into a copy of Neos that we just put back into the deck. And then once we do that, we can actually draw another card by using the effect of our EN Shuffle to be able to put back 2 cards back in the deck, which is super cool that we have to put a Neospatian and a copy of an Elemental Hero back into the deck, and then we get to draw an additional card. Now we have to shuffle those cards into the deck, so we're going to quickly shuffle up the deck and then draw a card just to see what we get and see if we can pull off some more plays. So we're going to go ahead and draw, and we're going to draw into a copy of Dark Panther, which is not that big of a deal, but we can actually go in for a Dark Neos by just normal summoning this card out to the field. But you also have the copy of Favorite Contact and Instant Contact in the hand, so you can go in for more plays later, which is super cool about this play. But you can basically just OTK the opponent with this board at this point, which is super cool because you have double Shining Neos Wingman on your side of the field and a copy of Elemental Hero Neos. So let's do a test hand, guys, to put all those combos together and show you guys what this deck can do. So let's go ahead and give the deck a quick shuffle and see what we can do for a quick test hand. So I've already pile shuffled the deck off screen because you guys know it's dad rule number 1 that you've got to pile shuffle the deck or you run the risk of breaking. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. We're going to draw into a copy of E-Call, which is already a Stratos in our hand, a copy of Elemental Heroes, Spirit of Neos, Neos Fusion, that's really powerful, Blaze Man, and a copy of Polymerization. So this is a pretty good hand right off the bat because we have 2 different attributes of hero monsters that we can actually put into our copy of our Sunriser. So at this point, let's go ahead and activate our copy of E-Call, and once we do, we're going to search out a copy of Stratos from our deck to our hand, which is going to be a pretty simple combo that we're going to pull off with this particular hand. So now we're going to go ahead and activate our copy, or normal summon our copy of Elemental Hero Stratos to give us a search from deck to set us up for next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and search from deck to hand a copy of, let's say, Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier will be a really good search in this particular position because we do have the copy of Polymerization, which will actually let us go for Absolute Zero, which is a really awesome play. So at this point, let's go ahead and activate the copy of Polymerization using Liquid Soldier and the Blaze Man in my hand to be able to go in for an extremely powerful monster, our copy of Sunriser. So we're actually going to go Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 for the Liquid Soldier because I want to go ahead and grab the copy, or actually Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 to be able to grab from deck to hand our copy of Miracle Fusion, because you never want to draw into that copy of Miracle Fusion because it is a one of in this deck. So it would be a little unfortunate to be able to draw into that card. See how close it is to the top of the deck? So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and see what we draw off our copy of Liquid Soldier that we actually used as a fusion material. You can wait if you want to and use the copy of Miracle Fusion to banish these 2 to summon out Absolute Zero if you want to go that route instead and then draw the cards. But if you want to go ahead and draw them now, that's totally fine. So we're going to go ahead and draw our 2 cards now and see what we get. We get an Air Hummingbird and another copy of Polymerization. That's pretty good right off the bat because we do have more fusion plays that we could pull off with this particular hand. But I'm going to go ahead and send the copy of, say, let's go ahead and send probably that Air Hummingbird from hand to graveyard. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Air Hummingbird, which will set us up for a copy of Favorite Contact later on. So now that we've discarded our copy of Air Hummingbird, we do have more plays that we can actually pull off. So let's go ahead and activate Miracle Fusion to be able to fusion summon away our copy of our Blaze Man and our Liquid Soldier that's in the graveyard. And we're going to go ahead and summon out a copy of Absolute Zero, which is a pretty good starting field because you do have multiple attributes on your side of the field for your copy of Sunriser to give you a boost, which is really cool because it must be fusion summon. Monsters that you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute that you control, which we actually control 3, so they're all getting a 600 boost. Now let's go ahead and activate our copy of Neos Fusion as the last card in our hand because after we activate this, we can't special summon. And we're going to go ahead and send a copy of Neos. And you can send a copy of Rainbow Dragon to the graveyard if you want to summon out Rainbow Neos, which is an option for you guys because it will come out and be absolutely massive on your side of the field and set up for a copy of Favorite Contact later if you need to, if you can get that copy of Rainbow Neos back into the extra deck. But it does help you out to get that card on your side of the field, just to give you more cards in the graveyard. So let's go ahead and summon out our copy of Rainbow Neos to our field, and now we're just going to end against the opponent. If we were going second, we would easily OTK because we could use the copy of Rainbow Neos to tribute this card on our side of the field and shuffle all of our monsters, our opponent's monsters, back into the deck, which would be super helpful. But since we are going first, we do just have a 4,500 attack point monster that's also gaining an additional 600. So our copy of Rainbow Neos is at about 5,100. Which is really big. Even Stratos is at 2,400, and we do have the Polymerization in the hand that we can use later on, depending on what we draw into next turn. So let's go ahead and shuffle up the deck and just show you guys what we draw into next turn. And the copy of Neos Fusion in the graveyard will give us a little bit of protection as well. So we're going to draw into a copy of Ian Engage Neospace, which we don't have. Well, actually, we do have a hero monster in the hand. So we can go ahead and activate that card and go ahead and use this in our hand with our copy of, say, let's go ahead and put a copy of Aqua Dolphin in the graveyard because we can still search with our copy of Infernal Devicer, the copy of Dark Panther and Grand Mole. So let's go ahead and put those cards in the graveyard. And once we do, we're actually going to special summon from our deck a copy of, where is it? Our copy of our Spirit of Neos, which is pretty good just to instantly get that card on our side of the field, because it just helps out just to get that card to your side of the field, being able to just basically get that card back. Also, the effect will grab back the polymerization from the graveyard. I was just double checking that because you can grab it back from the graveyard or the deck, which is really cool about that card. Now we have the effect of Spirit of Neos that will go off, and let us add our copy of our Instant Contact from our deck to our hand, which is going to help us out getting another really powerful boss monster on our side of the field. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle up the deck, and once we do, we're going to go ahead and go in for another play, tagging this card out and going in for a copy of Elemental Hero Neos, which is really good just to instantly get that card out on our side of the field, which is just super, super powerful. Now, at this point, we're going to go ahead and activate Instant Contact, which is like Instant Fusion, which is really cool to just throw our copy of Elemental Hero Flame Wingman in the extra monster zone, and then use our copy of Polymerization to fusion summon these two cards away into our Shining Neos Wingman, which gets us our boss monster on the field. And it's going to come out and be absolutely massive because it's going to have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 2100 extra attack points because we have all these monsters in the graveyard. And we also have 3 additional attributes on the field, giving it an additional boost of 600. So we'll come out at around 2700 boost. So it'll be at about 5,800, I believe. If my math is correct, it'll be about 5,800 because all of these are in the graveyard, and we also have all those other cards. And it has also a boost effect that it'll basically be able to pop cards on the field equal to different attributes. So you also have 1, 2, 3 different attributes on the field. Actually, 4 different attributes on the field with your copy of well, 3 because that's light, wind, and water on your side of the field. So we'll be able to pop 3 cards, helping you OTK the opponent. Then you can use the effect of your copy of your Rainbow Neos to be able to drop it down by 200, but then boost it up by an additional 300, putting it at a little bit more attack points, while also using the copy of Rainbow Neos to be able to spin your opponent's monsters or their spells and traps, which is really cool. You also have the signature polymerization still in your hand. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys would like to check out the deck profile, as always, it is down in the description down below. As always, for every test hand video, this deck is super fun to be able to play, and I hope you guys do give Neos a try, because as you guys saw, you can skip your opponent's turn basically with your copy of Cosmo Neos, and it's super easy to be able to do, and even OTK your opponent with the double Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman combo, which is really awesome. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.